Thank you. Saturday was a tough day, for Lenoir-Rhyne. Went on the road, faced a very good football team in Wingate, very well coached. I think their head coach been there something like 14 years. Built right, very big, physical, good receivers. They had lost their tailback from the week before. I knew that in last week's press conference. What I wasn't saying is how good the other two tailbacks were, how big they were, and how physical they ran. Very good quarterback, kid from here in town in Hickory. Could throw it, knew how to run the offense. They did some run pass conflict stuff that was schematically a nightmare, hard for us to stop. And he's a very good runner to boot. So, our defense had its hands full, and you could see that from the beginning of the game to the end. Offensively, when Nelson rolled his ankle on the first play of the game and let a little yelp out, tried to go back in and play on it, and was really ineffective. And it was apparent to us that the more we ran him, the worse he was going to get. So we subbed him out. He'll miss practice today, should practice tomorrow, but that'll be a day-to-day thing moving forward. Those things are tender, and you kind of see where he's at. They gave us some stuff schematically early in the game, with some of their zones. We were able to attack it and do some run pass stuff and get into the right play and move the ball. Our problem on Saturday offensively is when we got the ball in the red zone, we were unable to score. I believe we had the ball in the red zone 6 times, and we kicked 2 field goals, missed another, and then didn't come away with points on the other 3 trips. That's a direct result of not being able to run the ball and not being able to beat man coverage, and that's what you're going to see down in the red zone. Schematically, we could spend more time down there. I wish there were some things that we could do, but until we get better and more comfortable in those situations, then we're going to continue to struggle down there. And the only way you get better at that stuff is to keep practicing it, and hopefully in games you keep getting down there, and eventually you break through. In 2006, we didn't win the conference, or we tied for the conference championships at Cal, and the biggest thing we looked at was our red zone offense and its inefficiency. 2007, all we did that offseason was study red zone offense, and what we came away with is we had to beat man coverage and we had to be able to run the ball when we got down there. In 07, we went 13-1 and had that great team, and nothing really changed other than we improved in those areas. The players got better in those areas, we got more comfortable as coaches in those areas, and that's something that you go through. And hopefully Saturday's experience, it hurt, it was bad, but hopefully we learned from it and grew as a program because of it, because that's the only thing. I've read everything Dean Smith ever wrote, and he said 3 things with a mistake is you acknowledge it, you learn from it, and then you flush it. And that's kind of where we're at with this process. We're learning, we acknowledge that this is what we need to do better and this is why it's wrong. We're learning from those things, and then you've got to move on. You can't dwell on it, or else you hurt yourself for future. Upcoming opponent, Mars Hill's a very good offense. I really like their quarterback. I think I got an excellent tailback, and I got 3 excellent receivers, especially the 2 outside guys. That's going to be a big challenge for us defensively, and what we got to do. Defensively, they're a solid program. I mean, you just saw what you look at their statistics and you see where they're at. Our problem is we got to do better ourselves offensively. I mean, there are times offensively where the team could leave the field and we would struggle. It's just, we got to continue to run the ball and improve in that area. We got to get better at the play action stuff. We've got to hit things, and it's just not one instance. I mean, there's times where we miss the throw. There's times where we blow the route. There's times where we don't block it the right way. It's all encompassing, and it's very frustrating. But it's something that we haven't given up on. It's something we'll continue to work at, and it's something that hopefully we grow from. So I'll take any questions right now.
All right, Coach, you mentioned about their running backs, top 10 rushing yards. They also have another running back who's leading them in receptions. How have you seen, with the film, how have you seen them using that second running back that's a freshman?
Well, I mean, I've watched them on crossover, preparing for other teams more than I've watched them actually this week, because basically the defensive staff, spends a lot of time with that. They got a lot of good weapons. The first time I watched them, I said, man, I went into defensive staff and said, boys, this 5 and 10 are ridiculous. And one of our coaches said, no, they got another good receiver in there. And I said, well, I didn't see him. And then 2 weeks later, when I watched him in crossover, I think he missed the first week or 2, or I don't know what happened. And all of a sudden, number 1's, running routes. And like you said, they got 2 running backs. One, they throw the ball more to. They try to situational it or use their skill set, which is par for the course. That's what a lot of offensive teams try to do. They're very well coached. They got a good scheme, and at the end of the day, they got a good guy, who could get them the ball. Those guys just don't do it by themselves. I mean, they're blocking it up front, and the kids pulling the trigger to those different skill guys. It's kind of a back and forth. Like those skill guys make him a better quarterback, but him being a good quarterback makes them better skill guys. So this will be this is a very skilled offense, defense, quarterback, running back group that we'll see. And I mean, what did you say their record was 2-5, but it doesn't reflect it with these kids.
On our side, offensively, injuries are starting to mount up a lot. If Nelson can't go, how ready is Robbie Hooks and the backup?
Well, I mean, here's where we're at. What our preseason depth chart was and what it is now are completely upside down. Calvin being hurt has been a thorn in our side from day one. The receiver situation, the injuries there have really, really hurt us. I mean, I think we had 3 or 4 pass interference calls, that you like to think that if, we were just a few steps out there further, could have been touchdowns. A couple go routes that, you like to think that, I thought TJ was, he made All-American at Concord, and that was what he did, and that's not in the offense as much. These kids are playing their hearts out, but they're just not as fast as he is. Demarius breaking his foot in the first scrimmage. I mean, he's a 6'2", 6'3" kid who was all sack track guy last year, and that outside go route stuff is big. And then Calvin being, Calvin's really a Division I player. In all sincerity, and very, very, very skilled. He would fit this offense better than what he did in the past. Him not being there, so that's. I mean, just take Morris Hill and take their 2 best receivers and their tailback out, and then play. That's very hard. But I keep saying this over and over. Those are the facts. That is what it is. We've got to deal with and play with what we got going on. And our kids practice hard. They play hard. I'm proud of them. They're coachable. I mean, I can't say a bad word about them other than, they weren't at the top of the depth chart at the beginning of camp. And now if you take Nelson out of that lineup, who's been I would think he would have a chance to be freshman of the year. He's a very good football player. Then you're getting into, Bradley Jones didn't practice with us for 3 weeks because of a labrum. And then he goes in and he gets a few carries, but how much can you put on him? And then how much can you put on Robbie? I mean, can you go in and give Robbie the ball 35, 40 times in a game? I mean, that's a lot, for a kid who hasn't been carrying the ball all season. But, I mean, they're good players. They'll give you their all. You got to manage those situations. When you're not going to score 49 points against Wingate, no matter what you do. You can't keep up with that situation. Then when you do it and you don't have all the bullets in your gun that you need, then you're really in trouble. So that's what Saturday was, and we got to find a way. We've got 4 days to figure out how to not have that repeat this Saturday, because Morris Hill is they're very skilled offensively. If they score 49 points, we're in trouble. We've got to play good defense. We got to be good in the kick game, and then offensively, we can't just go out and score 6, because I don't care how well we play defensively. They ain't going to hold them to that, so I wish there were some magic plays that we could just roll out there and they work, but someone's got to block, someone's got to run, someone's got to throw, someone's got to catch, and I got to. And most importantly on all that is I got to do a better job coaching. At the end of the day, I'm the head coach, and there may be reasons for all these things that are going on, but it's my responsibility to fix it and make sure that it doesn't continue from week to week to year. And I feel extremely confident moving forward. I feel we'll be as good as anybody in this league next year. Once we get healthy, once we have another class, once we get another year with the system, some of these young kids get to grow up. I mean, I'm as confident as I can be for a year from now. But right now, I mean, you're sleepless thinking how we're going to get better, between now and Saturday. What did Rick Pitino say years ago? Larry Bird's not walking back through that door. So you gotta find a way to get to where you got to go with what you got.
In the press conference a couple weeks ago, you talked about how you want to get ready game by game.
Mm-hmm.
This week, to match up for their offense, what have you done what adjustment have you made defensively?
Well, I mean, we've got, we're hurting a little bit there, Rodney's probably out. He got a concussion late in the game, and those things are serious. obviously you can't rush it, and it's very unpredictable. Right now we're proceeding as if he's not going to be there. So now you got Rodney out, you got Duggar out, you got Kincaid out in a secondary. There's only 4 positions, and those are three all-conference type kids. So some of these young guys have got to step up and find a way. We got to help them. We got to play more double zones and try to protect them schematically. The problem is when you do that, you got 11 guys, right? So when you start saying, okay, well, we're going to double the outside guys because they're so good, well, then that takes away from the running back. You don't have as many guys in there to stop him. They got X amount of gaps to run in, and you don't have as many guys to cover that. So, defensively, your play calling's got to be almost spot on, perfect, predictable. And Saturday, you should hear on our headsets, when they called the one reverse, we're all on the headsets like, okay, they got 2 guys on the line to the left, they're unbalanced. We're yelling out, here comes the reverse, here comes the reverse. They bring the guy in motion, they run the reverse just like it did on tape, and it goes 70 yards for a touchdown. You're like, what I said this morning in the staff meeting was, okay, we knew, and we communicated that to the team, and our team knew, but it didn't work for us. So we gotta look at that same situation differently. It's just like if you're a teacher and you're good at algebra, but your students aren't getting algebra, well, then you better find a different way to teach algebra, or they're all going to fail. And the thing in football is you can't, you get 10 of these, 11 of these, and they keep track every 7 days, and ready or not, the next opponent's coming. But that's what, this is a great life. It's a great job. This is a great school. That's our burden. That's what we signed up for. And it's our responsibility as coaches to fix it and do better with it. And that's where we're at. We're losing because I'm not doing a good enough job coaching this team. I need to pick it up in every aspect. Our assistants need to do better. Our seniors need to be better. Our so-called leaders need to do better. From the top to the lowest man on the totem pole, we all got to do. And we don't have to make miracles happen. We just got to all do a little bit better and tighten our belts a little bit tighter, and then we'll all rise together. Anyone else? Well, I appreciate it. Morris Hill's not going to be easy, even though their record shows like us. We are 2-1 in the league. I'm not as concerned about that as I'm concerned about trying to find a way to be better this Saturday than we were last Saturday. I knew Wingate was going to be tough. Their physical size and strength was you were able to see it on tape, and then when you went to the game, you were able to see it and feel it. Those things got to be. We need another winner in the weight room. We need the Camargos and the Evans and these young kids to gain their 15, 20 pounds over the winter like most freshmen do, and be like Wingate. Wingate 2 or 3 years ago wasn't like that. You see them now, and you see the same names. You see how much better they are. I don't have a 4-year rebuilding plan. I have a 1 year. Like, my whole thing is I want to be good. I want to have a good team here this spring, so we could coach them and get them ready so they can be here next summer, so that we could have a good football team next year. And that's where we're at. That's our plan moving forward. We just got to go out and execute it. So I appreciate everyone for coming, and I look forward to seeing you all Saturday. Thank you.